I heard quite often men don't cry, though no one ever told me why. Being a man is overcoming the hunger. Because yes, boy, you're going to be starving. Starved of attention, starved of affirmation, starved of love, starved of being told that you are enough. 4 things society says to men who try and grow up. 1, men don't cry. Because women have a monopoly over the tears. Because emotions are just another cover-up for weakness. Well, guess what? When Kevin failed in 5th grade, he didn't cry. When Kevin's mother left him, he didn't cry. When Kevin's girlfriend died, he didn't cry. And when Kevin committed suicide, he wondered who would cry. People think the deconstruction of a man is some loud and violent occurrence, this common outpouring of bitterness towards the world, but in reality, it is a silent film. A common surgical procedure the world didn't know it was trained to do. The breaking of a boy is the world's quietest natural disaster. According to a 2019 international survey, nearly 60% of men feel they are expected to be emotionally strong and show no weakness. In an attempt to demonstrate this emotional strength, many men suppress or ignore any sense of feelings, perpetuating this expectation. We resort to apathy when what we need to find is empathy. So, through the poetry Teach a Boy to Cry by T. Sleeveless, What Society Says to Men by Helen Shaw, Rifles by Rudy Francisco, and Men Do Cry by Ken Folk. A poetry, because, as Steve Marble says, to be a man is to be in touch with one's emotions, to understand them, and to use them as a source of strength. And the article says that the Mexican government confiscates approximately 30,000 illegal firearms per year. When these guns are taken, they get dismantled, and the metal is used to make other weapons to be utilized by their military. In 2012, Pedro Reyes, an artist from Mexico City, convinced the government to donate the guns to him, and he turned them into musical instruments. So somewhere there's a tambourine, a drum set, a guitar, all made out of things that were once used to take people's lives, but now they create a sound that puts life back into people's bodies, which is, as you say, a weapon will always be a weapon, but we choose how we fight this war. And from this, I learned that even the most destructive instruments can still create a melody worth dancing to. And don't we also sometimes call that a battle? I wonder how long it took to convince that first rifle that it could hold a note rather than a bullet, but still fire into a crowd and make everybody move. When I was 6, I was taught how to throw a punch. Being a man is understanding that by the time you have found all the answers, the questions will have changed. You might achieve this strength of Herculean fiction, balancing these contradictions. Be a man, they say. Definition unknown. We men, so irritable, so resentful, so this, so that, we get told who we are so much it ain't even up to us. The blame is always on us regardless. 2. Be a man. Said the father who was never there. Said the alcoholic uncle who couldn't stop staring at the blouse of his neighbor's daughter, be a man. What an idea to set for a 13-year-old boy who was still shaving his non-existent mustache, who was experimenting with the protruding parts of his body, who's too awkward to hold a conversation with a member of the opposite sex. As a man, there's no such thing as being stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either use the stones at rock bottom to build your way out, or you get buried by them. Ain't nobody coming to save you. The entire world is trying to construct you into its perfect little image. And those around you are the ones who fuel this process of your manufactured masculinity. Being a man is comfortability with replaceability. You are only as good as you are useful. You are only as valuable as you are needed by others. And should there come a day, boy, you cannot provide everyone with a smiling face, do not be surprised when they say all a man does is take up space. When I was 6, I was taught how to throw a punch. And in the 80s, that was the anti-bullying movement. So, when one of my classmates took a yo mama joke a little too far, I remembered my training. I turned his nose into a fountain, my fist 5 pennies. I closed my eyes, I made my wish. I came home with bloody knuckles, and it was the first piece of artwork that my family hung on the fridge. I remembered staring at my fist the same way you stare at a test when all the answers are correct. I didn't know what class this was, but I did know that I was passing. And isn't that what masculinity has become? A bunch of dudes afraid of any emotion, terrified of anything other than anger. We're constantly yelling at a shadow on the wall, but can't seem to understand that we are the ones standing in front of the light. We learn how to dodge and jab. We learn to step in before we swing. We learn that the heart is the same size as a fist, but we do not understand that they do not serve the same purpose. We keep telling each other to man up. 3. Real men finish last. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Your ability to stop your ability from doing its job. So hold it tight. Masculinity is a word, humanity is another. So are love, care, and compassion. So if you, dear society, go where the first one means to you, you might learn what the next one means to the rest of us. Nobody taught the boy to cry, so he would do it at all the wrong times. In the barber's chair, getting casket sharp, remembering the funeral of a failed relationship. In the grocery aisle, getting weighed down by the tears collecting in his baggage. At a soccer game, remembering what it was like to be a boy chasing after a goal. We keep telling each other to man up, but we don't know what that means. We turn our boys into bayonets and we point them in the wrong direction. We pull their triggers and ignore the damage in the distance. The word repurpose. The word repurpose. The word repurpose means to take an object and to give it amnesia. It means to make something forget what it has been trained to do and make it do something better. I am learning that this body is not a shotgun. I am learning that this body is not a pistol. I am learning that the only difference between a garden and a graveyard is by what you choose to plant in the ground. You see, I once came across this picture of a strange-looking violin. The caption read that it was made out of a rifle, and I thought to myself that someday that could be me. 4. Men will be men. I say they should be. A man should be a man when he is crying his first tears and when he's crying his eyes out. A man should be a man and not a dog, a pig, or any other animal you could possibly generalize. A man should be a man when his father comes home drunk and raises his hand. A man should be a man when his daughter brings home a boy. A man should be a man when he is in bed with a woman he loves, cherishes, and appreciates. A man should be a man, and above everything else, a man is a human too. Most men have only experienced unconditional love from their mothers, and some of us don't even get that. Most of us have never felt respect or appreciation without conditions or hidden intentions. We don't know what it sounds like to hear, I see you, I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're here and you really make a difference. Yet the expectation is to be constantly displaying the strength and love that the world is so hesitant in conveying. We get told to have a thick skin, but get judged when it turns into a hard shell. Being a man is overcoming your fear of the fire. Because everything you ever build will go up in flames. Relationships, careers, hobbies, and yes, boy, you are always to blame. So don't get me wrong. This is not a debate about feminism or a million other isms. This is about unlearning years of conditioning and apathy. It's about learning about kindness and empathy. Forgetting what it is to be a he or a she, and instead learning what it is to be a you and a me. So this time, can we please make this about humanity? And this abridged explanation of the process is how you either become a man or a monster.